this COVID crisis, like 2.5 months working from home without actually much issues, right? So, Jeremy, can you move to the next slide, please? Thanks. The first thing I need to highlight here is like in our organization, actually, we were provided with the necessary tool set to ensure like we can work from home without zero hassle, right? That is mainly in our organization we had to, doesn't matter your designation, what is your designation is actually, whether it is an intern or a civil engineer or architect who comes in, we have provided a laptop, right? And plus, I think most of the tech companies do that. They normally provide a laptop to their employees, but in addition, actually, they have provided a dongle. So most of I feel when I had a chat with some of my colleagues, that is not happening, right? But in our case, we had the dongle in place as well. So that played a major role to ensure we have access to our software through the laptop. Definitely, because we are a tech company, all our software is pretty much we can handle it within our laptop. So that was there. Plus, to connect with our, I would say, infrastructure, or what you call the software which is hosted in cloud, to access all those stuff, we have that dongle in place. That played a key role to ensure we worked without any hassle during the last 2.5 months, right? So that is a key point. Now if I talk about the same thing for other organizations as well, for example, like people might argue, hey, let's get example bank, right? So in a bank, you can say we can't give laptops for everyone. There are security issues, there are vulnerabilities might happen. Those things they will argue, right? So in that situation, yes, there will be security things you have to consider, but actually right now you can very easily do those things, what you call secure your laptop, secure data without any issues, right? So if I go through the diagram which is on the right hand side of this particular slide, just think the basic level security, we know if you are providing a laptop, yes, admin login will be blocked, right? Then we are asking to have strong password and everything, right? And you can go beyond that, right? Go check the level 2 part, right? So data encryption and offline storage options, all those things, and disable unnecessary ports. Right? Things are really matter. For example, now the argument will come, okay, if it is a bank, right? I'm always trying to get the example for bank because they have sensitive data with them, right? So in that case, they might argue, hey, I can give a laptop to my executive level employees, but we have sensitive data. They might pull those data out from the laptop. Yeah, but actually you can disable those ports, have a different software in place to ensure you track what is actually going on, and data will be taken out from those laptops. That is one way of doing it. And additionally, if you want to go further on securing your laptops with what you call these data breaches and everything, you can have a software pretty much track what employee does within your laptop, right? So it basically do, okay, if you are doing something, it will track, hey, this particular person have done this and he's trying to copy something out of the laptop. Those things can be logged very easily with the new software we have in the current market, right? So in that situation, you can give an alarm saying, hey, someone is doing a bad thing, I would say, not a proper thing. So those things pretty much you can easily do right now. And multi-factor authentication for sure, to ensure that particular person can only access the laptop, no one else. So with all those things in place, now a secure laptop is pretty much very easily can provide to any employee. So the main thing is here is like, let's get the same example. So you can, as an organization, different organizations can think, okay, now I have this much of employees with me, right? But out of these, who are the persons which I can provide a laptop and a dongle as well, right, to connect to the VPN. So the business need to think about it and have that in mind to ensure at any particular time you can provide it and people would be able to seamlessly work without any hassle. For example, the back office staff of a bank, right, who do what you call loan processing and everything. So do they need uh, a desktop, right? Can they have a laptop? Just we need to think, right? Then you can clearly see, okay, you can provide those and your work can be done seamlessly without any issues. Uh, let's go to the next slide, Jeremy. Thank you. So next key thing I need to highlight here, which was able, what you call, for us, the key point was the infrastructure and everything was in cloud in our case, right? So if you think in the older days, if here uh, people are here from non-technical or non-IT background, so earlier, like 10 to 15 years, I would say 20 years back, we used to have our servers, right, in our office premises and in a huge AC room where a person is managing those, right? That is called on-prem hardware, right? But with the evolve with the cloud computing, now that infrastructure and everything is pretty much managed by a service provider. For example, AWS, Google, Azure, Oracle, those people, right? So in our case, all our infrastructure was hosted. I would say we utilized the infrastructure of AWS. So we didn't have any hassle related to managing infrastructure in this COVID crisis, right? So as employees of developing web applications and developing different I would say software, we just concentrated on developing the software and deploying it, right? We didn't thought about, okay, whether that server is up and running hardware level, it is okay, whether the AC is fine, is everything is going on. No, we didn't even think about those, right? All those things were managed by the service provider, in our case AWS, right? So that played a key role, right? If there was a curfew and if there are servers down, take example, if you had everything in on-prem, and someone should go there and do that necessary fix hardware level, right? That was not needed in our case. So zero dependency on infrastructure management played a key role. Plus, as full stack software engineers or full stack development teams, so we didn't have the middle layer as well. So in some organizations, you have a deployment team, right? So a team will develop the software or do the implementation, and they provide it to a separate team, and they will do the deployment, right? In different, I would say, AWS or different service providers, AWS or Google. That part was also not in our case, right? We eliminated that middle layer as well. So developer is the full one who is responsible for developing and deploying it into the cloud. So another human factor we reduce with this full stack development as well. So for other organizations, what I'm saying is, so you can't, like small and medium and enterprise businesses, you can always argue we can't go to the cloud because of the security compliances and data, sensitive data. You guys have sensitive data, so we can't move ahead with the cloud, which is open, right? So, but there are huge, I would say, a lot of case studies right now. You can see like banks moving into the cloud, it, hospital systems moving into the cloud, different organizations, industries moving into the cloud, while pretty much making that sensitive data within them, right? You can't, sometimes you can't have everything in cloud. So sensitive data or real important data might you have to keep it in your on-prem, but partial you can go to the cloud, right? That is called hybrid cloud. because you have on-prem solution as well and partial in cloud. So when you are doing that as engineers, or I would say solution architects, so you need to decide like these steps which I mentioned on the right hand side. You have to think what what deployment model I have to go on, whether it is fully cloud or whether it is hybrid. If you have sensitive data, definitely you have to think about a hybrid cloud where you have real sensitive data on-prem, but some part in the cloud infrastructure, right? Then how you integrate with your existing systems and the SLAs, and the critical thing is the security and the privacy challenges, right? Those things, if you consider all those things together as a team, like with the business team and the systems architects and I would say solution architects plus the security team, right? Combining all those teams together and think whether I can move some portion of my software or data and other stuff from on-prem to cloud, that will definitely give you a benefit. So, Jeremy, if you can move to the next slide. Thank you. So these are the some of the facts which I gathered during a small research. So if you look at the right-hand side picture, right, look how people are thinking, right? Data in cloud. So most of the corporate financial data, they say they want to retain in their on-prem data centers, right? This is, I'm thinking about the cloud architecture, right? Cloud hybrid architecture. But there are, I would say, 24% of the people or organizations are thinking like, okay, they can have their data, financial data, some in a mixed manner, on-prem and in cloud, right? So people are moving towards that right now. So as organizations in Sri Lanka, we have to think on that manner, right? Different industries need to think on that manner. So if you move on in that particular chart, you can see the consumer data. Yes, you can have a mixed bag. But if you go for the non-sensitive data part at the right side of that table, you can see most of the organizations are thinking, okay, I can have all those things in my cloud, right? So we have to think on that, right? We have to identify what are the sensitive data, what are the non-sensitive data, and how we can segregate those two between the on-prem and the cloud. So to conclude, I had this, I included this diagram which is on the left-hand side. So the COVID acceleration on cloud plans. So this is a cloud report, right, from a Flexera State who have done research. So look at this. This is really important. How other organizations are thinking after this COVID-19 crisis. So they are thinking like enterprises and small and medium businesses, like 60%, right? Close to 60% of the organizations are thinking to move to cloud slightly higher than they planned, right? So they thought of going to cloud before this COVID issue, but right now they are thinking to accelerate it, right? So that is how other organizations are thinking when moving to cloud. So that is one major thing I need to highlight here. So you have to think on those aspects to ensure you can seamlessly carry out your work during this kind of a crisis. Plus, I would say this is providing a laptop and a dongle plus moving adapting to cloud will benefit you in everywhere, right? It doesn't matter due to this crisis or not. For the crisis, definitely it will do, but overall, it will benefit you a long term as well. So uh, I will conclude my presentation from this. So you have to think very hard, and act fast, right? So if you do that, you will be able to pretty much be successful in your organization. Thank you.